apologize for the inconvenience on the time. Obviously, the schedules we had some conflicts today with Labor Day days that we all have off. So anyway, it was a good win for us in Seattle. Not really anything different than what we talked about in the post-game conference. Special teams were really big for us. Guys made some nice returns, and there were some other players. Taylor Sokolowski, I think I'm saying that right. I call him Sock. Really played well in special teams. Lucian Anton really played well in special teams inside in blocking where you don't see much to key those returns. Defensively, our guys tackled better. We were in proximity and coverage, rallied to the ball. We're able to get some guys off their feet a little bit. For example, Dre Chatham played 32 plays. Last year in the first game he played 65 or 68. So our plan there worked out well for us. We played 25 defensive players throughout the game, so we were pleased with that. Offensively, did not play very well down inside the red zone. Everybody knew that. As the game went on, started to play better, got on the right guys, blocked well. 24 made some players miss. Obviously, Dez makes plays in the throwing game. So really not anything different than what we talked about in the post-game conference. This is a good team we're playing this week, very athletic, very fast. Can move the ball on offense and have run and tackled well on defense. So we'll have to prepare well and have a good week and be prepared to play well on Saturday.
Mike, what would you say allowed you to have the special team success that you had? I know you had a couple of new guys out there doing things. And anything that you guys did particularly well?
I think Parrish has had some success. Dez is new to special teams, and obviously he's got some ability to make some plays. But we have guys on the interior part in both the coverage unit and the return game where blocking is very essential, and they did a nice job. They just take pride in it. Special teams is one of those areas that everybody talks about how important it is, but your team chemistry and the approach to it and how important it is for you to work hard and spend the extra time in practice and really get good at it is important to it. And those guys did a nice job and they worked hard, and so they were on their blocks, and then it's the returner's job to make players miss.
Especially for the junior college guys and some of the younger guys, they've got maybe a taste of it but not as many snaps as they want. You know, when they look at this film for the first time, how much do you impart on them that they can learn this is the tempo, this is what has to get done? You get to this speed, you're going to get to play more.
Well, there's a learning curve for any new entry player, whether he's a high school player or a junior college player, and there's always a misconception that a junior college player is going to come in and just make the difference right from the start. But you guys have heard me say before, in our opinion with our coaching staff, we hope that we can get 16 or 18 games out of them in a 2-year career. You want to get 10 or 12 plays early in the season and get them acclimated to the speed and what it takes to play at this level. But they do give you added depth and some maturity just from being 20 years old. So we've got a long ways to go in all three phases, but we feel better about where we're at now than we did at this time last year.
Mike, how much more of a challenge do you think the Houston team will be for your defense than Washington State was?
That's kind of like a journalism no-no, right? Like the cell phone?
Yeah, I just committed it. Thank you very much.
In fact, I just had a call. I felt mine vibrating, but I did have it on vibrating as my wife. So
yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that, but it didn't distract me, as you noticed. Houston has good team speed, and they rally to the ball. And then offensively, they throw the ball around very well. Their quarterback does a nice job. They've got skill guys that can run. Their tight ends, they'll play 2 tight ends at times, and they'll split them out some, and then they'll tighten them down. So they're using multiple formations with the same personnel, which is an advantage for the offense. But defensively, they'll run well and they tackle.
Mike, how different is this Houston attack that someone's brought in compared to what Briles was running previously?
Well, there's not any comparison. It's a different coaching philosophy, in my opinion. I mean, you asked me, and Briles did some different things compared to what they're doing. I think you're going to see more of Texas Tech's passing game in a little bit different blocking scheme. mean, it's hard for me to say what they're trying to do. I'm just going on what I see.
Even though Bryles did have some Texas Tech influence
Mm-hmm.
with Leach, but there is a difference.
I think so. You'd have to ask Coach Beck and those guys. Just when I look at it, I see some similarities in route patterns and concepts, but I don't see any similarities in what goes on up front. That's me. I could be wrong.
Mike, talk a little bit more about the jump ball you threw today that you had so much success with the other day. You used that throughout the course of time here, even back when you were offensive coordinator with Rashawn. In 2004, you guys used it. Talk about kind of your affinity for that.
Really, it's to simplify, it's kind of backyard football. And back when Coach Miles and I were here, we were effective running the ball, so everybody jumped in the box on us and left Rashawn out there by himself. And after we were here for 3 or 4 games, we decided that we had to take advantage of that because we had a really good player out there. And in most cases, he was probably better at what he did than the corner. And we feel like Dez is pretty good at going up and taking the ball out of the air. And Dez is actually more physical, in my opinion. He's better at bodying up. And Rashawn was great. Rashawn was a great leaper and could take the ball at the highest point, and Dez can do that, but I think he's a little more physical. So if they overload the run, we just try to take advantage of it. And that comes back to, to signing day. I mean, if you don't have a guy out there that can do it, then the play's not any good. You can draw it up on a board, but you got to have a guy out there that's really athletic and has the ability to go get the ball.
Does the fact that you got a lot of man coverage on him, do you expect that maybe that's going to change and maybe take that play away from?
I think everybody approaches it differently. And again, it's hard for me to speak for anybody else, but if Washington State, in looking at the tape on Sunday, may have thought that, okay, let's not play so much man on Dez, let's double him up, but then maybe Kendall can run the ball more effectively. So, it's really a complicated game that's pretty simple if you look at it. If they single up out there, you should throw it, and if they double up out there, you should run it. And if they're better than you are, you're going to have a hard time doing either one. But you just hope that you're somewhat equal to them, and then you can make the right play call and or the quarterback can get you in the right play.
Does it take a special kind of receiver to be able to run that regularly?
I think so. I think you have to be really talented. And the one thing that I've always liked about Dez, and Dez is at times can drive you crazy as a coach, but Dez is fearless. Dez will go up and get the ball at any time, and then he'll go across the middle at any time. And that's the one thing you like about a player like that. And the guys that perform fearless out there on the edge can play for a long time. There's just a few guys that have played even in the NFL that played fearless. Jerry Rice would come across the middle any time. He didn't care. And up to this point, Dez will still do that. And so that's why he's a little bit different than other guys right now.
Mike, you mentioned the red zone or the inside the 10 goal line problems from the other day. How, as a coach, how do you address those?
They were mistakes. After the game, I thought our schemes weren't good, but in looking at the tape, 7 out of the 10 times, it was a mistake that was made somewhere within the 11 players on the field. Now, the coaches may have not had them prepared for it to the best that we can, or best that we could, but it's not something from an X's and O's standpoint that we can't correct.
So you work it more maybe in practice?
Well, the truth be known, they lined up in a front we'd never seen before.
Okay.
I mean, they just lined up in a front that, one of my concerns going into the game, or one of our concerns were we didn't have anything to watch or prepare. They jumped in a front that we had never seen, and so it limited what we could do. It was really pretty smart on their part.
So you give them credit?
Yeah, I think they did a nice job. And so the adjustments we made as the game went on, but early in the first quarter, we weren't able to get to those adjustments fast enough. And then at halftime, we could do it, and we had more success in the second half. Coach Wickall and those guys got it figured out, and were able to make some adjustments.